Well, hello, everybody, and welcome back to another Tuesday show. Well, today is not just your ordinary Tuesday show because we're not actually going to be talking about any specific topic whatsoever. But today we actually have a amazing, not only she's so pretty and beautiful and everything in between. She is my business manager from Carnival. We're going to welcome her in. Her name is Sydney. And you guys going to get to not only ask her some of your questions, but I know that at the end of the program, everybody's going to love her and she is fabulous. Like, with no further ado, let's bring her on because we have a lot of stuff we got to unpack on this show. And hello, Sydney, welcome in.
Turbo.
Hello, hello,
Wow,
welcome
what an
in.
intro. Thank you for having me. Happy to be here.
Yes, I'm super excited for you to be in our show today and across, and like we I was going to say, across the wave in the Traveling with Tinkerbell show. Um, Hello, everybody that's coming into the chat. Hello, hello, welcome back. I'm going to give a few minutes for people to start coming in. People are starting to show up, but just so that you guys know, Sydney has been our BDM for a little bit, and she does anything when it has to do with Carnival. If you guys ever have a situation or an issue with a booking, this will be the beautiful person that I will say, Sydney, I need your help.
Or when you come to Tinkerbell and you say, I want to put together the biggest group of all my friends and family, I will also be helping her with that.
That is correct. She is
Many
my
hats.
Yes, she is my savior sometimes with some of my clients. So I'm always grateful for her. And I'm super happy that she's here with us today. Real quick, let me say hello to everybody that's coming into the chat. David, thank you so much for being here. Harlan, Samara, thank you so much for being here. I know we have about 13 people so far. Some people don't do the chat thingy because I don't know. I don't know if it's because they're scared to say something, but if you have a question for Sydney, put it on the chat. We're going to go through some questions that we already established, and then we're going to open it up to you guys so you guys can have your time at it and ask all the questions possible.
Yes.
What is this question? What area does she cover?
So right now, I'm actually based in Boca Raton, Florida. And I cover Fort Lauderdale up to Vero Beach and then Naples to Tampa. And then a couple different cities in between. But that's pretty much the area that I cover as of right now.
There you guys have it. The other question. Hello, Jonathan. How are you, sir? Thank you so much for making it to the show today. Actually, for those of you that don't know Jonathan, I got a lead the other day and I called him. We've been talking because eventually he might be thinking of becoming a travel advisor. So we've been talking a little bit. So I invited him over to the show. And hopefully, Jonathan, you will enjoy the show today. And thank you so much for being here. So with no further ado, we're going to start the show. I have some questions to ask. I know you guys are putting some questions on the chat already. So we will take those questions a little bit later on. So keep that in mind. Welcome in, Cruise Nuts. Thank you so much for being here, sir, today. All right. So my first question, Sydney, is what makes you work for the cruise industry, specifically Carnival? Because, you know, there's so many different types of cruise companies, but I'll leave the floor up to you.
Yeah, absolutely. So pretty much what led me into the cruise industry is I was pretty much born into it. So actually, fun story. So my dad has been an agency owner since before I was born, which yes was more than 18 years ago. And so my very first cruise was actually I was 11 weeks old. And again, my dad was an agency owner. 11-week old children are not supposed to be cruising. And my dad, again, so we were actually living in Charlotte, North Carolina at the time. And we drove down. I mean, I don't remember any of this. I was 11 weeks old. And we got to the ship in Port Canaveral, and it was a Disney Magic. And someone said, how old is she? Basically said, you're not allowed to come on with her because she's 11 weeks old. They had to bring a physician out from the ship, check to make sure I was healthy, and then said, we'll allow you to sail this once, but then like, please wait until she's older, until she sails again. Next cruise I took, I was 2 years old, so abiding by the guidelines. And it was the Carnival Sensation. So I have photos from when I was just itty bitty girl, 2 years old on my first Carnival cruise. But I've been grateful enough, having family in the industry to be able to sail on a lot of different cruise lines and to see a lot of the world. So growing up, seeing your family in that industry, seeing my family take my brother and I on traveling experiences, my grandparents, all of us doing this together, it really just built this, massive love for travel in my heart. And I knew that I wanted to have some sort of business development role within the cruise industry. Now, to be honest, I am not biased when it comes to cruise lines. I just knew I wanted to be a part of an industry and I wanted to represent a brand that I can be myself at. And so when I was thinking about, different brands that, my personality matches with, you also have to factor in, is that even an option? Is the role open? But Carnival was really one of those that, I felt like I could represent fun. And the position actually opened up a couple weeks into my job search. And I was able to get an interview and then eventually, led to this position. And I feel like I look at myself now, like Jackie, and I'm like, could I represent Cruise Line with my person? I'm like, am I classy enough for that? I don't know. But there is one thing that I can do, and it is bring the energy and bring the fun. And so I've loved every second of working with Carnival. It's only been 2 years, and it's been some of the best 2 years that I've had so far. And truthfully, I can be myself, I can represent the fun, and I can, more than anything, encourage other people to also join in on it as well.
I do agree with you. You do represent the fun because every time you're always, not only she's always having, she has a really good personality, but everywhere she goes, she makes it completely fun to be around. And I really like that about you. So kudos
Thank you.
to that. Welcome in Warmstrom Adventure and Controversial Cruising. My husband Martin says hello. It says, I'm still working, but couldn't miss Miss Sydney.
Hello, Martine. What is his photo? What is that profile?
Oh my God. Martin has this guy with that's not even him.
Yeah, I'm like, who is that?
I don't even know. Only Martine. Hello, Mama Nancy. Thank you so much for being here. All right. So my next topic is one that is like a little, when booking a cruise, it's very easy for people to understand. Okay, so I pay for the cruise, all foods are included. So we're going to talk a little bit about specialty dinings because, as if for those of you that have traveled on Carnival, Carnival has really great specialty dining on the brand new ships. So let's talk a little bit about specialty dinings. And then after that, I do have a question for you afterwards. So I know that with the newer ships like Celebration, Mardi Gras, and Jubilee, I know they have Emerald's Bistro on it. They have Rudy's Seafood. They have La Cucina. They have Shebang. They have 555 Fahrenheit on it. And they do have the, oh my God, what is the one, the one that is only like 10 seats that you can, oh my God, I forgot.
Oh. Bonsai teppanyaki, bonsai sushi.
They got the bonsai teppanyaki, but besides that one, they have the one that is, I think it's like about $100. Chef's table. Okay, there we go. And I know they probably have more, but that's
you did good. You did good.
You could tell I've been on a Carnival ship.
He's been on a couple. Everybody's ship. She loved it.
I'm almost diamond on Carnival. I'm almost diamond. I'm getting close to diamond.
Close.
So, and I'm actually wearing my Roofer St. Jude shirt today. I'm representing Carnival. For those of you that didn't know that. What can you tell us about specialty dinings when somebody books their cruise on a Carnival ship?
So I want to just start out with, part of why so many people choose to sail on Carnival is because the ultimate value that you get for the money. So you had mentioned, me talking about my favorite specialty dining restaurant. And I'm always going to say it's Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse. Now, Tinkerbell is here to back me up so I don't sound completely biased. So she's going to be here saying, yes, Sydney, it's the best steaks I've ever had in my life. But let me just tell you, and I just got off a amazing conference on the Carnival celebration, and I had Fahrenheit 555 Steakhouse again. So Fahrenheit 555, for those of you who don't know, is across the entire Carnival fleet. It's our steakhouse. It is a paid for option, but it's about $50 per person for adults, maybe $49.
Right.
And you get some of the best steaks you've ever had in your life. So when I'm talking to travel advisors or talking to guests, I always tell them, when is the last time you had one of the best steaks you've ever had? Me, I'm a 8-ounce filet mignon, medium rare type of gal. When is the last time you had an 8-ounce filet mignon, some amazing mushroom risotto, a French onion soup, this massive, like, I don't even know how to explain the dessert where it melts in front of your face and they're pouring it. Amazing.
Oh, you talking about the chocolate one? The chocolate
and a bottle of wine for $50. So when you're thinking about, the ultimate value that you get and, is it worth it to try one of these restaurants? I like to just try and like compare it to, if I were to try and go to a steakhouse and have a meal like that down here, especially in South Florida or in Tampa, you're not going to find that unless you maybe go to like, I don't know, not to hate on Outback Steakhouse or anything, but that's sort of like what the value would be. So I'm always talking about the value of what's included, but also one thing I want to mention is, we have a lot of celebrity partnerships with Carnival that are continuing to grow and continuing to strengthen. One of those is, as you mentioned, Emeril Lagasse, a world famous chef, and he actually started as just a partner with Carnival Cruise Line, and he evolved into our chief culinary officer. So yeah, so Emeril Lagasse actually tastes every single menu item from, of course, his options, but also our steakhouse, also Rudy's, also our specialty or our dining experiences in the main dining rooms. So our entire cuisine has really evolved and become really the talk of the town. So even last week, I was sailing with all travel advisors pretty much and franchise owners, and they're picky. Tinkerbell, you can back me up.
I know.
We're picky. And the rave from everybody was continuously our food. So while we have specialty dining like Fahrenheit 555 and on the Excel class Rudy's Sea Grill, which is brought to you by our partnership with Rudy Sodeman. I mean, it's fabulous seafood. But there's also, to Tinkerbell's point, other options that are included. So like you mentioned Shebang, you mentioned Cucina del Capitano. These are sit-down restaurants that are on both the Excel class and the Vista Panorama Horizon. And actually, the first time you dine for dinner, it's free or it's complimentary. And then the second time you decide to dine, it is $8 per person per visit.
Right.
But that's an entirely almost like a specialty dining experience in itself that you get to have complimentary the very first time you go. So I think long story short, you have to try our specialty dining. But if you don't, there's so many other options, and the cuisine on board is truly amazing. You just really can't go wrong.
I agree with you when it comes to that, because I'm also a 555 type of girl because of my allergy that I have to certain types of foods. And I actually, when I went on celebration for my group cruise a couple of weeks ago, we actually dined there twice.
Yeah.
And it was so good.
Yeah.
But I do agree. You have many, and you also have, we forgot the Guy's Pig and Anchor. If you want to have a sit-down dinner, you can do that, and it's also complimentary on the Carnival Excel ships. So just in case if you did not know.
On sea days.
Well, no, the for the dinner part of it, I don't know if it's the one-time complimentary, because we went there for dinner and we didn't have to pay for the dinner part. Ooh, that's a good question.
Jackie, you know more than I do. No, but to your point, there are a lot of other quick meals that you can
Yeah,
get. I don't really even go to the Lido Deck buffet. You absolutely can, but I'm either going to Shaq's Big Chicken, I'm going to Guy's Burger. Are any
right.
Guy's Burger fans in the audience here?
I'm one. I like Guys
um,
Burgers.
Big Chicken I love. And then Cucina, not Cucina. Uh, what's Blue Iguana
Blue Iguana
as well
Cantina.
for their love their tacos. So a lot of different options that you can go and get amazing, just quick bites on board that are
Right.
complimentary to you.
Yeah, even on C days for lunch, you can have cucina and shebang for lunch, and they
Mm-hmm.
won't charge you the $8
Mm-mm.
on C days.
Mm-mm.
And you can also have the pig and anchor for lunch on
Mm-hmm.
C days.
Mm-hmm.
You do have tea time as well if you're that kind of person that
Mm-hmm.
you enjoy your tea time. It's also there. So I do know that especially the Excel class now do have a lot more to offer than the Vista class and the other ones, obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but it is a good, you don't have just the main dining or the buffet just to go eat
Mm-hmm.
a food, because I thought that right now with the street eats they actually added a chicken wing station.
Yes, they
I
do, and
didn't
they're
even
really
get to
good. I tried
try.
them. I just tried them for the first time. They're really good.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
goodness, I
Yeah,
was
I didn't
shocked.
even get to try. I actually passed by. I said, oh yeah, I'll come back. You said, oh, I have 7 days.
Yeah,
Man, by the time I was like, I didn't even get to go.
they fly by. They fly by. They really
Yes, they
do.
do.
Mhm.
Another one of the questions that I have for you is like, what are some, because I know you've been to so many different types of cruise, well, the cruise ships on Carnival and the fleet of the
Mhm.
Carnival family. What are some of your favorite Carnival cruise ships and why?
Mhm. So easily, I'm going to tell you it's the Carnival Celebration. Um,
That's my
and
favorite ship.
it's not just because she's in my backyard. I've given a million ship tours on her and I've sailed on her a million times. Um, but the Carnival Celebration was actually the first Carnival ship that I had stepped foot on as a BDM or as a business development manager. And prior to that, the last time I was on a Carnival ship, I was like 5 years old.
Oh
So
wow.
I actually didn't know what to expect from Carnival 20 years later. And when I stepped onto the Carnival Celebration, it just kind of gave me a feeling. The Excel class is truly, and the word we like to use is game changing,
Hmm.
because it's really nothing like the rest of the Carnival fleet. And while I love the fantasy class ships, while I love the Vista class, I love Dream class, they're all different. The celebration just sort of gave me that feeling. So for those of you who don't know about the Excel class, they're divided into 6 zones, and I won't go into detail on all of them, but each Excel class ship has 2 zones that are unique to that ship. And on the celebration, one of those zones is what's called the gateway. And each zone is designed to really transport you somewhere else. And on the celebration, it's meant to transport you to different cities all over the world. So it's a really immersive and innovative experience when you walk into the zone, the gateway on the celebration, because the scenery and the windows that are actually LED screens sort of change around you. So one minute you might be just looking out at sea, and then one minute you're looking at Santorini, you're looking at the Eiffel Tower in France, the music, the lights, the sound, everything really changes around you. And I think that's something that I've never experienced on a cruise ship before, and something that I think a lot of people aren't expecting. It's also just got that wow factor. It's also got the new bells and whistles. I love the new bells and whistles type of person. I do appreciate, some of the older ships as well, but I personally love to see what's new, what's next. And then
Right.
celebration really gives me just, a feeling, and it's fun as well. It makes me happy.
Yeah, I'll be honest. I have a couple of my favorite ones. Number one
Hmm.
is being Celebration. I just love the Miami vibe.
Hmm.
I've been on Mardi Gras, but for some reason, Celebration catch my heart more.
Yes, same.
And I've been on Celebration. This was my fourth time on Celebration. I've been 3 times on Mardi Gras. I've been on the Breeze, the Magic, Ecstasy, Fantasy, on the Paradise. If you guys when we
Oh, the
started the show,
paradise. I
yeah, when we
love the
started the show,
paradise.
we're going underneath the bridge. That was on the Paradise. So yeah, Carnival
Mhm.
has a lot of. It depends on what you like, because when you go into like the Paradise, you kind of like transform yourself like back in the time.
Mhm.
It kind of feels
It's
really kind
groovy.
of.
It's kinda
It is
groovy.
groovy. It's really
Yeah.
cute. Like the Conquest is really cool. That has that emerald color on the Conquest, and then you have the Splendor that it looks like a flamingo because everything is pink.
I haven't
So
been
you
able
can
to
tell I've
see
been
the
on a lot of
Splendor.
Carnival.
Yeah. Well, the whole point being, there's a ship for everyone. That's what we
Mhm.
like to tell everyone. So whether it's the new innovative Excel class or it's fun
Right,
Italian style or it's the Paradise every weekend, it's it's really up to
right.
you. Again, there's something for everyone.
Well, welcome in, Javier, and also cruising on the high seas and travel. Welcome in, you guys. Um, So I have another question for you guys because a lot of people don't realize that these things do happen on a cruise. What can you tell them? Do Carnival do wedding or any type of big celebration, kind of like that? Because a lot of people really don't understand how that all evolves. So,
Yeah. Absolutely. So Carnival actually has a really great weddings program. And it is an entire like separate department that works on weddings, but we can do all types of weddings. So it can be if you want to get married, you can bring as many guests as you would like on board to do the ceremony, and then they can simply just get off before the ship docks. So the wedding happens on embarkation day. You can do a destination wedding, so you can travel to one of our destinations, and you can get married on one of the islands. You can also do a wedding at sea, so you could have as many
mhm.
guests as you would like come. The captain can actually, ordain. Is it ordain you?
Perform
uh,
the wedding or something.
yeah, you get whatever the word is.
To wet you.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different options to get married at sea, but honestly, what I think I hear or get asked about even more than that is vow renewals.
Hmm.
So a cute story that I have, and I have many of these stories at this point. The If you guys aren't familiar, the names Celebration, Jubilee, Mardi Gras are actually names from retired carnival ships that we
Right.
brought back onto this game-changing class. So I've had a number of travel advisors tell me, Sydney, I got married on the original Mardi Gras, and then I'm getting my vows renewed, or I got my vows renewed on the new Mardi Gras, on the game changing Mardi Gras. And so I actually get a lot more questions about vow renewals than anything, if I'm being honest.
Right.
But those
Yeah.
programs were phenomenal.
Yeah. I did my daughter's 15th birthday on the Horizon. So they
Ah,
do quinceañeras there too.
yes,
And they take
yes.
amazing pictures. So if you're thinking about, am I going to do a wedding or a quinceañera or a vow renewal? What about
Mhm.
the picture stuff? Trust and believe they have
Oh,
everything you can
yes.
think of.
Mhm.
And it's really nice because you don't have to sweat it all trying to figure everything out. They will figure everything out for you. Now, I will say, Sydney, and this is funny because I found it hilarious. On Carnival Celebration a couple of weeks ago when I was there with my group, somebody was getting married, right? And you hear them on the intercom, sir, such and such. Please, we have to leave. You gotta get off the
Gotta
ship.
get off. He was trying to stay on board.
He probably said, "Look, I really like this. I'm liking the vibe. I
Yeah,
don't want to leave." But
well,
they finally, I guess, found whoever it was because we left without him. But I
well,
thought that was hilarious.
I mean, I'll be completely honest with you. So you've been on some of my ship tours.
Mhm.
The most recent, I think, the Carnival of Venezia. But when we have to disembark from the ship or debark from the ship, whatever it is, I literally call it the walk of shame because I'm like, I have to get, we're getting off and just walking, and we're like, oh no, we're not sailing. And then you have
I
all
know,
these
right?
people who are like excited, ready to cruise. And I'm just
Yeah.
like, okay, we're all getting off
I
now.
be feeling it all the time. I'm like, okay, let's go.
I'm like, no, you
Everybody's
can't
coming
hide in
in,
someone's
all happy, and
closet.
we gotta
Like,
get out. I'm like, what?
I
What
will
is
find
this
you.
nonsense?
Yes. I'm sure they have found a stowaway. That was probably
Oh
me
my
that they
God.
found. They had to drag me out by the legs, unfortunately.
Well, I would it's like with everything, I always think when because when you're on these cruises and you hear they call somebody on the intercom, you're like, okay, what's going on?
Yeah.
Like, did they find the person?
I'm like, oh no, is it me? Did I do something?
Well, welcome in PK Travels. Thank you so much for being here today, sir. Now, my next question is one that I enjoy because I have done so many of them. Let's talk a little
Mhm.
bit about group sailings. Like, what
Yes.
can you tell us about, these group sailings? Because a lot of people sometimes, are looking like family, like reunions or different scenario stuff out there, or maybe like a bachelorette party, which actually
Mhm.
this coming Sunday, I'm going to put this plug in here real quick. This coming Sunday,
Oh.
if you guys want to meet me and PK Adventures, we will be at the Wedding Expo at the fairgrounds here in Tampa. And yeah, we're over there with Expedia, and we're going to try to do some bachelorette, groups and things like that. So this is where this come from. Can you tell
Oh,
us a little bit
fun.
about the group sailings?
Well, that's a loaded question, so I'll probably start talking and then ask if you have more questions for
Okay.
me. But I put a lot of thought into the multi-generational aspect of it,
Hmm.
and how much there is to do. So we do sail more family reunions than any other cruise line, and we sail more military than any other cruise line. And both of those fall into a lot of different groups. But when you think about, family reunions, that is really multi-generational travel. So the whole point being, we have something to do for absolutely everyone. So if you want to talk about all the activities there are to partake in together, I mean, you can do experience waterworks, you can ride boat, you can
Hmm.
do participate in mini golf, do lido deck movies, Seuss at sea. But also, if you want to travel as a family and you're all kind of like, we want to do our own thing. I grew up traveling with my brother, my god sister. I don't have cousins, so I have to say that. My parents, grandparents, kids of all ages. And I grew up on cruise ships. I went through all the kids programs and I was like, I don't want to see my parents. I
Right,
want to
right.
go and have fun with the kids. I want to make friends. And it's a great way to do that on board Carnival with the youth program. So that's an option. We also have a million things to do for adults as well. So if you wanted to go to the spa, the adults only Serenity area, um, if you wanted to go to piano bars, we have comedy clubs for 18 and up. Audiences or for an entire family to watch. Same with Family Feud. So we are such a big cruise line for groups
Hmm.
because, like I mentioned before, we have so much to do, but also there's a ship for everyone.
Right.
And we sail out of more home ports than any other cruise line. So we also try to make it convenient for everybody to get to one of our ports,
Right.
which is another reason why, we are so favorable in terms of group sailings.
Right. I do agree with you with that because I do get a lot of families, what is the best option? There's these many kids coming on board. What
Mhm,
can this cruise ship or that cruise ship versus, maybe the Horizons versus the Excel versus like Paradise out of Tampa? What can they
mhm,
offer? So you have to take into consideration not just one person going, but actually a whole group of people.
mhm,
What is it that they like? What activities? Because we are adults, but the kids love. If you guys go on a carnival cruise, the kids love cruising. My
mhm.
daughter is 16 and she loves her carnival brand.
Oh, yes, she does.
She sure do. She was not happy that she didn't go last time. Really quickly, welcome in Scott McNeil, Marjorie. Thank you so much for being here, and Miss Katie. Thank you so much for being here with us today. But yeah, the Carnival brand has so many different ships that you can do your group cruise. And if
Mhm,
that's something that interests you, just let me know, and I can give you some more information on how to go about doing that. Your group cruise can not only be like you have to have in order for it to be a group, it has to have at least 8 cabins. At least that's the minimum, and up to a maximum of however many you have, as long as there's availability. Now, if you want to charter the whole ship, that's a different story. That's a different situation on its
if
own.
you wanna charter a whole ship, you can reach out to me directly.
I know, right?
I will personally assist you.
I know, right? Let's close celebration now. Let's do a big party there.
Yes, but I feel like I also have to add, just in terms of groups, is the value. I have to just talk, the value
Mhm.
again. and the food. So if it is a group that wants to, you know, spend $100 a person at chef's table and have a, you know, one of those amazing, incredible 9-course meals, then you can do that. But you can also
Right.
spend the evening at Guy's Burger or on Lido Deck and watch a dine-in movie. So like there's so many different things and activities to do, not to mention,
Right.
you know, the entertainment on board. You know, there's some, like, again, I can't hone in on it any more than, you know, there's something for everybody to do on board.
Right. Welcome in, Scotty J Travels. Thank you so much for being here today. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button if you're enjoying the show. But I do agree with you. There's so many different variables I could say when it comes to the cruise industry and depending on the cruise ship you do, because depending on the cruise ship you choose to go on, it's the different, every cruise ship has its own memories. That's how I see it.
Oh,
Depending if you
I
want
like
something
that.
kind of chill and whatever, then you know that's what you're gonna get. If you want something more out there, that's what you're gonna get. And I will say something, you know, because you see it all around TikTok. And this is something that I didn't know that Carnival had, and it took me by surprise because you know they do the sail away party, and now they have that song, what is called the boots, whatever, and they the fan thing, and you have people with their fans out there. You haven't seen that?
I haven't seen that. No, I'm working on these
Holy,
cruises.
where was you on the celebration? I was like, wait a
I
minute,
gotta
this
go
is a
again.
totally new stuff. And I was dancing and jamming over there. I didn't have a fan. I wish I had a fan.
I'm sure
But
you do.
yeah, people take their fans and it was a whole party up there. So I always seen Carnival as truly like the fun ship, because if you want to party, that's where you want to be at. For sure.
It's party as a family. Yes. We family partying.
Well, not only family party, but you know, Carnival is a big family. Look,
It
Scotty says,
is.
I'm
It
taking my
really
fan in
is.
August.
It really is. It is. And
But
there's a cruise and a sailing and a duration and a ship for everybody.
there really is. I do agree with you on that one at
Mhm.
100%. Not every
Mhm.
ship is meant to be for everybody. That's why I always tell my clients, you know, go on this ship and go on different types and
Mhm.
even different types of brand. Don't stay with the same one,
Mhm.
because you might be missing out on something that you didn't even know it was there and it was available to you. So
Mhm.
I do have another question, and this is question number 6. Um,
Oh
can
boy.
you provide any like new ship information? I don't want to put you in. I don't want to put you on the hot seat. Any cruise ship? I know there's 8 different cruise ships that Carnival bought. We already know that. Are you able to say any something about one of them that it hasn't been out there in the public without you getting all? You know, I don't want to. I don't want you to lose your job or anything like that,
Oh.
or any Carnival information that you can elaborate more on the new upcoming cruises or even Celebration Key that maybe we don't know about.
So as our chief operating officer loves to tell us, if I told you before, if I told the sales team before I told anyone else, I'd have to kill you all. That is exactly what he says. And Tate, he says it. He goes, if I told you, I'd have to kill you all, because he knows that a sales team is absolutely going to blab. So unfortunately, he knows us too well. And so there's nothing that I can relay that I will find out 5 minutes before you find out. And I might even find out after the fact because they
Oh
don't
my
want us.
God.
And I don't blame. I can you blame him? Can you blame him? I can't.
Yeah,
But
it is
I
true.
do feel like I need to just talk about a couple new things that are coming
Okay.
out. So the Carnival, we've just announced, as you know, the Carnival Festival and then the Carnival Tropical, the next 2 Excel class ships. So the festival will be coming in spring of 2027, and then the Tropical spring of 2028. But what's really new about these ships is we're getting rid of Bolt. So while we love Bolt, Bolt's not leaving the other 3 Excel class ships. We are trying to continue catering more and more towards families.
Hmm.
So, and what is replacing Bolt is what we're calling Sensation Point, which is about 3 decks high, and it's full of water slides, splash pads, family activities that everybody can partake in, a DJ stand, additional bars, and then a number of these big water rafting rides, which we're really excited about, that can hold up to 4 people. So we've never had really like a massive, sort of water park like that. We're calling it Water Parks Ultra. So it'll be something that's really new. But what's interesting and what's different about this on the Excel class than other cruise lines is we're actually going to have extended hours. So I can't even tell you the amount of
Oh,
times
that's
I
pretty
grew up
cool.
cruising. Yeah, I can't even tell you the amount of times I grew up cruising. You go have a Lido deck dinner, and all you want to do is go run around, get your energy out on the slides in the hot tub, splash around, do water slides, and everything's closed. Fun fact, I've actually gotten kicked out of the water park area on different cruise lines with my friends because we tried to climb into the water slide and crawl around them because we wanted to so bad. We were little kids, like, want to ride the slides.
I know, right?
And get the zoomies out. My parents wish we could have rode the slides too. So I think that's something that's super unique. There's photos of it where the entire like aft part of the ship is just lit up, and you get to experience those late night extended hours on at Sensation Point. So I think that is something that is new. We're really excited about. I also, while this isn't new information, I don't know who all knows about it, but the festival is coming to Port Canaveral. He's going to be doing longer sailings. You might be wondering, what is the Mardi Gras going to do? She is also in Port Canaveral. Well, she's actually going to move to shorter sailing. So think 3 and 4 day, which is absolutely massive for us. We have some competitors out there that do something similar, but I also think about my own family, and I want to get my own family. I mean, hopefully they cruise on Carnival before 2027,
Right.
but it's hard to get my entire family, my friends, family, to go on a 7-day cruise. Not
Right.
everybody can find the time. So, and I want them to see the Excel class. I really do.
Yeah.
So I think that that's going to be a big game changer for us as well moving forward.
And I agree. I agree with Carnival doing that because it gives them the ability, like, to have the people coming into Excel class ship get to enjoy it, and then maybe say, hey, you know what? I want to do a 7-day on the other festival and the Tropical or Celebration or out of the Jubilee out of Galveston. So yeah, I do agree with when it comes to that. I think that they did a really good thing by putting Mardi Gras to do the 3 and the 4 day sailing on there. So I think that's a really good thing. And then we get to sell even more because now people are saying, hey, yeah, I want to go on a 3 and a 4. Now they're going to jump on that ship and do it.
Yes, absolutely. Everybody on here.
I know, right? Everybody. We should do a big group, right?
I wish.
I do have another question for you. What do you have any fun facts about Carnival and that you would like to share?
So I actually do have one that I just recently learned that I thought was honestly just super interesting. So as you know, Carnival has brought in so many new ships. So the fun fact is, ever since COVID ended or the pandemic ended, we have brought in the same amount of inventory as all of Holland America line.
Oh, wow.
So think of all of Holland America line. We have added all of that inventory to the Carnival fleet since post-pandemic.
Wow.
And that's not even including the new ships coming.
Right.
So that's one of my fun facts. The other one is that Carnival was the first cruise line to have water slides. I always love to share that one. So the original fun ships. Those are my 2 big ones right now. I'll probably think of a lot of others. Do you have a fun fact?
I have a lot of fun facts. Well, I have cruise, I have cruise on Carnival quite a bit. I think I don't even know how many cruises I've done on Carnival. But I'll be honest, one of my fun facts is actually the older ships. Because I guess the vibe that you get on those ships, like the Splendor and Conquest, Paradise, it's very different. Like when you walk in, it has a different personality. That ship is a different personality on its own. And maybe a lot of people maybe not like that kind of stuff. I'm like back in the times, but I love that kind of stuff on a cruise ship. And when you go in onto a new, like the Excel, then you're like more like up to date, you know, like today's world kind of.
Mhm.
It's kind of like going to Disney
Going
and you
through the
want to start
decades.
ourselves a progress, you know, when you go through that progress in life, kind of like that with Carnival. So that's, you know, one of my fun facts is just enjoying all the different types of ships. And you know, you're making memories in a different way on each ship. So keep that in mind, that when you're booking, you're trying to find what that the ship that best suits you for your personality. Really, that's what you're trying to find, besides, you know, having all the good stuff on it. look,
Yes.
look at this person. Tinkerbell is loaded with fun facts. I'm always loaded with fun facts. But if you guys have any questions for Sydney, because it's already 7:42 and we don't want to take extra time of her time, put it on the comments. I know that I'm going to go back to the beginning because I did see some questions at the beginning that people were adding on there.
So I also want my next fun fact. I have to add this one. It just came to me as I was looking at my amazing background of Celebration Key opening in July of this year.
I know.
They will be, and we love to brag about having every cruise line loves to brag about having the largest this and largest that. So we have the largest freshwater lagoons in the Caribbean. My fun fact is it took 40 days to fill up just one lagoon.
Oh,
that is how large they are. Yes. So I don't know what you want to do with all that information.
Oh my
God. Isn't that
40
crazy?
days.
I know.
That's crazy. Okay, so let me see. Have she visited Lagomar Beach Resort?
Did she mean Mar-Lago?
No, Lagomar is a resort that you will find on Fort Lauderdale. And if you're, you know, when you're on the canal, when you're leaving Fort Lauderdale, actually,
is it on the beach?
It's on the beach. But Carnival doesn't have any more ships on Fort Lauderdale, right?
No.
They used to a long time ago, but they don't anymore.
No.
But no, Lagomar is kind of like a resort on the canal where the ships are coming through, and you can see, you know, it's right there. It's like the last resort standing on Fort Lauderdale on the Everglades when you're coming out the port.
Unfortunately, I actually do know what you're talking about, but I have not visited.
I actually visited when I went to Fort Lauderdale I think it was in January, and I visited Lagomar with my husband because we were over there trying to get this group situation together up there, and weirdly, so I ended there.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that's where Samara was talking about. But let me see if anybody has any questions for you. Hold on. Hello, Cruising with Keith. How are you? I don't see any,
with Keith.
I know I don't see any other questions. During the sail away, the place to be is either the stateroom or the casino. Well, that's kind of different.
Interesting.
I like to be where the whole atmosphere is at.
Yes.
That's me. Especially, like, I'll be honest, man, those sail away on Celebration packed. That Lido, you couldn't fit another human being on that Lido. Like, the whole entire ship was there. Well, half of it, because, you know, you couldn't fit like all 6,000 people up there on that Lido bed. But it felt like the whole entire ship was there. It was crazy.
They are so fun. They are so fun. And our 80s rock party, I got to experience that for the first time. Oh my gosh. Tank, you should have seen what Kirk Neal was wearing. Like, oh my gosh.
I saw somebody was wearing a Tinkerbell outfit.
They were. They wore it for Pirate Party. There was Tinkerbell, there's Peter Pan, there's Captain Hook. Oh my gosh, they have everything.
I'm like, how could I not be there?
You were there in spirit, you know.
I guess somebody's like, you know, we need Tinkerbell here. I was
laughing.
Just
felt magic in the air.
Controversial Cruising said that he can't wait until for Celebration
Key. You and me both, Controversial Cruising.
Yeah.
It's about time.
Yeah, Cruising with Keith has a small group on the Carnival Mardi Gras that is in August of this year, and they're going to be stopping at Celebration Key.
Yes.
Look, Cruising with Keith tells Harlan the casino is closed. Sail away, which is true. It is closed.
This is
I
true.
bet
You
you
gotta wait a
Harlan just
little bit.
sits there to make sure that as soon as they open, he got his spot.
Yes. Yes. Great casinos on the Excel class as well.
Oh my God. And then they're asking, now that people are asking each other, like, when are you going to go Celebration Key? But yeah, guys, if you are interested in booking a Carnival cruise and anything like that, and I wanted to bring Sydney so that you guys get to know her. She has been with us for a while now, and like I said, she is my backup individual, my little how would I say, my little pixie dust that works her little magic in the back when you guys are having all these issues. And I
Yes.
love her because I know that a lot of people, and it's true, like some people said, well, I'll book my own stuff and whatever. But when they come to a position where they need something, and it's very difficult to call the cruise lines and for them to come and help you, then they try to call me. Hey, I got your number from such and such. They told me to call you because you can help me. Guys, I will try my best to assist you. But as a TA, if I don't have access to your booking, it's very little that I can do. Now I have bothered Sydney. I say, hey, Sydney, I have such and such issue, and sometimes, they're able to, work a little bit and kind of give us a little bit of insight as much as they can provide, because since I'm not the TA, and I try to help and assist the other person on the other side. But just keep that in mind. It's always good. And it's not because I'm a travel agent. It's always good to work with a travel agent because we have a big backup of group behind us that are always there 24 around the clock. If anything that we need, like Sydney, she's always there.
Well, I would like to add that
Mhm.
that is because Jackie's able to come to me because we have a great relationship.
We do.
There are a lot of travel advisors that I work with. And Tinkerbell is one of those that, there's a great partnership, there's a great
Mhm.
relationship. So when she comes to me, I know she needs some help, but I'm also
Right.
willing to do whatever I can. Can't always fix
Right.
anything. But because she values Carnival, we have a great relationship. I'll always go the extra yard for her. So you guys are definitely in good hands.
Yeah.
Only if you book Carnival Cruise Line.
And I be honest with you, and I'm glad that you mentioned that. That is true. That's a good point. I love you. But I always say that to all the TAs out there. And I know PK. Hey, Miss Judy, thank you so much for being here. Oh, I have the
Yes,
best
Judy.
travel
Yes,
agent
you
ever.
do.
Oh, Miss Judy, you're so sweet. But I always tell all my TA on the people that I know that they ask, because people ask, how are you in this, how are you well known? It's because I do my due diligence to get to know all of my BDMs, to have that relationship with them. And you see us here, but we laugh on the background, we joke and everything. But
Of
when we have to
course.
get serious, we get serious and we get to work and all of that. But that's something that I love to do. I want to have that networking with all of my BDMs and all of my partners and as many people as I can to be able to bring you that level of service, to your family. And like Sydney said, not everybody does that. And that's one of the cool parts. As you can see, we laugh and everything, but it's because we've been having this relationship for a long time. And sometimes, weirdly so, we do change BDMs because obviously they have to move on to other stuff. And then you build that relationship again with whoever comes in new. So, because before Sydney, we had Seth, which he was really good. And Seth moved on to other opportunities in the company. But just like everything, like you, if you have a promotion, you move on and then you got to say goodbye to everybody else. And then, somebody comes in your place, no different. So I just wanted to say thank you, Sydney, for being here today with us.
Thank
If
you
you
for
guys
having
have,
me.
if you guys have any other questions for her, please put it down in the comments. Let me see who's saying my next cruise is booked with the TA. I wonder who is that. I do have a lot of my customer. Thank you, Miss Tracy. I love you, girl. Hopefully all
Aw,
the moms
so
had a
much
good Mother's
love.
Day. I know.
Well,
I
you know,
wonder why. No, I'm just kidding.
I'm checking this like YouTube live like off my bucket list.
I
Like
know,
I'm
right?
like, Jackie, when are you gonna put me on? Are you afraid to introduce me to your friends?
Never. But next week, guys, next week, and I know we have Sydney here, but next week we're gonna have another business manager. Her name is Cassidy, and she is from MSC Cruises. So you're gonna get to meet Miss Cassidy next week, and we're gonna be talking about her brand. And then eventually I'm gonna go down through everybody, that I know, and that way you guys get to look at Martine. I had to stop what I was gonna say. Have you had any stowaways?
Martine, it
Martine,
was
were you a
you. Do you
stowaway?
not remember we had to drag you off the ship, the Venezia?
That's right. That is right. Come on, Martine, get out the ship.
We were
You know
dragging
that
you
after we
out.
said our
Yeah.
goodbyes, he looks at his clock and he's like, "Oh, we still have some time." And I said,
Yeah.
"Let's go." Let's go.
We're like, hey, they're putting like the stairs back up. No, we gotta go. He's like, no, we got time. The
I
casino's
know.
about to open.
He liked the Venezia look. He says it was very nice. Actually, if you guys have not been on Venezia, oh my God, that's a total game changer because
Mhm.
the Lido decks makes you really feel like you're out there in a different world.
Like you're in Italy. Like you're in
Yeah,
Italy.
I
Yes.
had a great time, and especially that gondola thing. I'm like,
I
this is
know.
crazy.
Life-size gondolas.
How did
We're
they
gonna
put
have
that
them
there?
really curious now. So they're
Mhm.
gonna come to you and they're gonna be like, Jackie, what is this Venezia you guys are talking
I
about?
know, right?
Must
Let's book
try
you
it.
real good.
A ship for everyone.
But I'll be honest, like it blew me away to see that gondola. I'm like, I was trying to figure out how the heck did they bring that in here?
Carefully.
Oh my God. Do they is it the whole thing or they brought it by parts? I'm guessing by parts
I
probably.
would imagine it could be an either or situation.
Okay.
If depends on how strategic they were with it. But it is 100% like a full life-size gondola.
It's
Um,
beautiful though.
yeah. People always
Somebody
try and
got
climb in it.
somebody went in there and got on. I'm like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I know. It's absolutely
Oh,
stunning.
look at Martin. It's a different feel. Martin, he's going next month to Europe, and I guess he just wanted to stay on Venezia, like kind of have the feel for it. He
Yes.
really didn't want
I
to get
get
off
it.
the
I
ship.
get it.
I guess I'm gonna have to take him on Venezia now for like a week or so.
I guess you must. Let me
Yeah,
know when
I'm
you're
gonna have to do
sailing.
it. Hold on. Cruising with Key says a lot of space is lost from all the venues, but I love the Italian restaurant.
Yes, Il
Okay.
Viaggio. So good.
Venezia is
Um,
good, but I don't like it for the deck parties.
Cruising with
Well,
Keith is picky about his deck parties.
I know. He's over there. Hey, I don't have enough
He's like,
space.
why is there Italian music playing?
I know, right? But yeah, so it's one of those like I said, if you I know that we have an actual YouTuber. They're called we know them as a CCA. Oh my God, I can't. Carnival Cruise Addicts. I think, yeah, Carnival Cruise Addicts. And check them out when you get a chance. Sydney, very cool people, and everything they do is all Carnival. And John
Like
Hill,
Carnival Addicts. Is that what it is?
Carnival Cruise Addicts. So they go by CCA, but they're called Carnival Cruise Addicts. And I wish they would have been here. I actually did invited them today to come to the show, but I guess they couldn't make it for other reasons. But they talk everything Carnival, so it's really cool to check out. I like to check out their show because I like Carnival, and they have a lot of fun facts about John Hill and different things that they
Oh,
do. So it's really cool. So if that's just a little shout out for the CCAs out there.
yeah.
If
I'll be
if you guys
checking
are
you out,
watching and you
CCAs.
are, yeah, if you guys are watching and you guys are his friend, let them know we gave him a shout out here so they can come back and watch the replay and check it out. Um, Look at me, Carnival. Yeah, there are good. Harlan says Carnival Cruise Addicts. So yeah, so when you
I
get a
have
chance,
to.
just check them out. They're really fun. He talks about all the. I think he has a little show that's called the Yakety Yak, and they talk about John Hill and all the things that John Hill talks about. I guess on their show, he gets little snippets of it and he puts it out there for everybody. So a big shout out to them, being that we had Carnival. I wish they could have been here because they are Carnival addicts through and through.
Oh,
They don't travel on
they
anything
can
other
watch
than
the
Carnival.
recording.
Yeah.
I'll send you. I'm gonna like slide into their DMs later.
I know, right? Hey, I'm Sydney from Carnival. Like, oh my God.
Oh. They
Um,
met John. I've met John. Oh my gosh. I was like a little kid, like meeting someone famous. I like, we're walking on the Venezia. It's like the naming ceremony.
mhm.
And I see him and I just like start walking a little bit faster and I catch up to him and I'm just like literally walking directly next to him. And I go, "Are you John?" Like, my name is Sydney. I'm a business development manager with Carnival. And I just wanted to say that I really like you. Like, I literally sounded like I'd never met a famous person in my life. Like, I'm like, I work for the same company. I was like a child. Oh my gosh.
Oh my
He's probably
God.
like, who is this girl that's like crazy working for Carnival? She's following me around the ship.
Oh my God. Sydney, they have a question for you. What is your favorite port?
To sail out of specifically? Maybe.
Keith, which is it
I'm
to
gonna
sail
go.
out of or
Well, I will tell you that I personally like to sail out of Miami because that is only an hour away from me. Um, but I do love all the other ports. Honestly, I haven't really sailed out of enough ports.
oh,
Aside
he
from
said to
like if
visit.
you
To
to
visit.
visit. Um, so that's a tough one. I'm gonna probably just go. Can I say Celebration Key even though I haven't been there yet?
You could. You haven't been there, but eventually you'll get there.
Let's go. I can do this. So I'm a big St. Thomas fan. I do love St. Thomas.
Ooh,
But my family loves to have a lot of fun. And so we do love Cancun and we love the
okay.
Senior Frog specifically.
Okay, so Cozumel. Okay.
Oh, Cozumel, Cancun. But then it's, I haven't been able to sail on Carnival to other destinations. I have been to Halifax. Wait, is that Alaska? Am I wrong in that?
Halifax. I think that's Canada or that
Canada.
area up there.
I'm
Boston
I'm
area.
gonna sound like a spoiled cruiser by saying there's some places I just don't even know where I was. But on Carnival, that's a different type of cruising than, when I've cruised on some other lines.
Right.
So I've been, again, fortunate to travel all over. It's in Canada. Okay, then maybe
Awesome.
not. Maybe not. But I have sailed Alaska and Hawaii. Those are absolutely beautiful destinations. Again, I've lived a very fortunate childhood. I've been able to see a lot of the world and, I plan on seeing even more of it. So hopefully I'll have a better answer for your question in another year or two.
But I agree. Look, Controversial Cruising said that they went on the for fun's sake John Hill group cruise in February, and I bet they had a really good time on that. So yeah,
Yeah. No,
Halifax
I've
is in
not been to
Canada.
Nova Scotia, Canada. I have not.
Oh wow, that's awesome. Well, guys, our time has run out because we only have Sydney here for 1 hour because she got things that she got to get done. Thank you so much, Sydney, for being on the Traveling with Tinkerbell show today. If you do have other questions for Sydney, just send them over to me. I will shoot them out to her, and maybe we can have her again at another time on our show. So thank you so much for being here with us today. And I get to see you soon again, hopefully.
Yes, hopefully.
And with that being said, guys, toodles. I love you guys all to the moon and back. And I will see you tomorrow on our Across the Way show at 8 p.m. So hasta luego. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you, everyone. Cheers, fun.
All
Thanks
right.
for having me again.
Bye-bye, guys. Thank you so